What's going on, y'all? I'm Nate.
I'm Elijah.
And this is MMA Bros. Today we'll be going over the Marcin Tybura versus Tai Tuivasa fight night card. And with the first fight of the card was Charlampos Grigori versus Chad Anliger.
And honestly, Charlampos looked really good in the first two rounds. Yeah. Well, first round, he looked really good. He was blitzing in with combinations, and Anliger was standing and trading. He landed some good counters, but Grigori used that pressure and took Anliger down in that first round and controlled him for the rest of the round. And then second round, he tries to do the same thing again, but he fails. And Anliger defends very well, and he gassed out. Yep. I think he really gassed himself
out in the second round for sure.
He kept trying to go for the takedown when he should have just gave up on it. And then
it lasted over. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. It lasted over 3 minutes of him trying to get the same takedown. He was just up against the cage, holding him, and by the end of the round, you could just see him walk into his corner, just out of breath, heaving. And that third round hits, and Anliger just puts it on him, piecing him up here and there, just dominating him the final round. So I truly believe that the second round, it could have went either way. You could say it could have went to Grigori because of the it was literally like three minutes of clinch work. Just it wasn't really much of anything, and that's why I can see why they gave the second round to him, because during that round there was some really good moments for Chad. He was jabbing it up. It was like that was the whole thing he was mostly doing was his jab. It looked.
And he had nice leg kicks too.
Yeah, nice leg kicks, exactly.
And another thing I really noticed was his footwork. He had really good footwork, in and out movement, angling out, landing shots as he was angling out.
For someone with such a no disrespect to him, but someone with such an ugly record, he started out with this 12-5, and he started his MMA career 2-5, or 2-5, and he actually is 12-7. I'm sorry.
Now 13.
Now 13-7, and that's not a nice record, especially for someone in the UFC. But he really showed that he's stepping up his game, especially at his age. He's still getting better, and honestly, he surprised me.
Yeah, his record doesn't translate to how good he fights, because he's legit. He's very skilled. He's really good.
He is. His stand-up definitely surprised us.
Yes.
The next fight here, though, we got Mitch Ramirez versus Thiago Moises. And honestly, my pick was completely wrong. It was more of a hopeful pick as well. I tend to do that sometimes, but I believe that during the time, I thought Mitch was very strong. I've seen all his fights, and he doesn't look like he gets dominated with grappling. I've never seen that once. He actually is the one dominating the grappling. So to be honest, Thiago Moises really proved me wrong, if anything, because I doubted him. And he's been seasoned. He's fought at least 10 fights in the UFC right now. And that was Mitch Ramirez's debut. So it kind of threw him under the bus immediately. But I believed in the hype. And honestly, Moises takes him down. He holds him, tires him out. And honestly, he eventually just completely dominates him through all the facets of grappling and even some stand-up moments. He even was lighting him up. But in the second round, that's where Moises really tired him out, and you seen the gas tank. You could tell that Mitch Ramirez hasn't been too late too often. And right there, Thiago Moises showed his veteran. He showed why he's in the UFC, and he proved, like, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, and in the second round, Moises was able to get the takedown again, but Mitch showed really good defense, and he got back up to his feet. Yeah. But I think in all of that, plus the pressure that he was putting on Moises is what really got him a little tired. And then in that third round, Moises started really kind of picking him apart, landing nice jabs at range, nice leg kicks. And he landed one big leg kick on Mitch and dropped him with the leg kick, and then just kept spamming leg kicks. It was a pretty nice finish.
It was.
I'll give it to Moises, a great performance. And I that's what I was kind of saying in prediction. Like, I felt like this was a big step up for Mitch.
And
to take on Thiago Moises in your UFC debut, I got to go with Moises because, he's more proven himself.
For sure. And it's, that was definitely, Thiago Moises is obviously the more logical pick, and next time I'll definitely go with the more logical pick. But
I don't think Mitch was a bad pick.
I don't think Mitch was because he looked really good in his, like, he was dominating everybody he was fighting. So I kind of bought into the hype. The next fight up on the card, we got Jacqueline Amarim versus Corey McKenna.
McKenna, she showed her strength.
For sure.
I was right in that, but I was wrong in the fact that she was going to win because she didn't. But I was also right in the fact that Amarim was more skilled than McKenna. I said that, and she showed that whenever she got taken down, she was straight on that triangle choke, and it was in there pretty good. Amarim was toughing it out, but eventually she switched to the armbar, and it was a really weird moment because the ref almost stopped the fight, but then he said, "Never mind, go on." And then he almost ruined the
she almost let go of the armbar.
She almost let go, but she held on to it, and then she ended up still getting.
She repositioned, and when she repositioned, she just got it clean. She was laying on her back and just pulled back. And honestly, the way she transitioned from the triangle to the armbar was so clean. And honestly, I gave too much hate to the women's. I claim every single fight tonight of the women's, we claimed that there were going to be decisions.
Yeah.
You can even see in our body language that we thought they were going to be boring. And honestly,
they proved us wrong.
They proved us wrong. She showed
I
her
think
skill.
The biggest thing of tonight was the grappling.
Yeah,
a lot of grapplers
match. Yes.
proved themselves tonight, and even in the women's fights, Amarim with the submission, she showed that she's a high level in the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, all around, and she didn't even get to show her stand up, and that's where I thought she shined, to be very honest. So for her to get the finish by submission, good for her.
Next fight up was Josh Culibao and Danny Silva. And Silva started aggressive, and he started really good.
Yeah, he looked really good.
He looked really good. He was faster than Culibao, and he landed a big uppercut, had him hurt bad.
Him rocked against the cage, yes.
He jumped on a guillotine, tried to finish him with the guillotine, but he didn't get it. And then he kept going on. He kept pressuring him, landing heavy shots on Culibao. But Culibao was landing he landed a heavy counter. He stayed composed, and he started to rally back in that first round, and he started to outland Silva, but Silva I think landed the bigger shots.
Yeah, he did. He rocked him.
He rocked him.
Yeah,
he had him hurt bad, and because of that, you still had to give that round to him.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the second round, Culibao was doing even better. I think in the second round, he started to angle out. He was landing hooks as he was angling out. He was landing good counters, and Silva was trying to take him down. He used his strength to take him down, but Culibao was able to get back up, and he still, I think Culibao lost that round. And then you go to the third round, Silva pressuring forward. He was landing big shots. He changed his levels, and he got the takedown on Culibao, but Culibao was able to defend, get back up, and eventually, Danny Silva hurt Coulibao's leg.
Yeah.
And then he was pressuring him down, walking him down, and he showed that pressure was just too much.
Yeah, it was.
For him.
That's one thing I got to say about Silva. In our predictions, I said that I didn't believe in this gas tank. Honestly, I was actually surprised because in our prediction video, I believe that Danny Silva didn't have the gas tank because I seen in some of his previous fights. Granted, they are previous fights, so we don't know everything about these fighters, and we don't know what they're training. So you definitely tell that he worked on it, and he proved me wrong on that as well. This is like a fight card of proving us wrong. But at the end of the day, Danny Silva put that pressure on him, kept it tough. And that's how it ended. Unanimous decision to Danny Silva.
And we might have been wrong on that fight, but the next fight up the card, Phil Ho versus Ode Osborne.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, it was pretty easy to predict.
Yeah, for sure.
If you was picking Ode, no offense to you, but I don't think you did your research. Honestly.
Yeah.
Phil Ho, it was pretty obvious, man. He's the grappling specialist, and Ode Osborne, that's his hole in his game.
Yeah.
So what happened was, nothing really much happened on the feet. Ode Osborne got taken down and nothing much really happened on the feet. Ode Osborne got taken down, gives up his back. He gets flattened out, but he ends up giving full mount up to not get choked. But eventually, he's getting hit with big ground and pound shots from the full mount. So he gives his back up again, and that's when he gets rear naked choked.
Yeah, and it was honestly, we seen it from a mile away. The moment it got down to the ground, Ode Osborne had nothing to do with like I said before, he doesn't defend himself intelligently when he's on the ground. And that's what I've seen about his past fights. And maybe his stand up is great, maybe it's amazing, but we will never know if he keeps getting to the ground.
And he does have good stand up.
Yeah,
he's got
does.
good power,
Yeah.
he's got knockout power.
That's true.
When he's on the feet, he's pretty good, but he's not knocking out the best guys.
Yeah.
Like he'll knock out some bums, let's be honest,
yeah.
but he's not. Give him respect. I don't want to trash the guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the best mixed martial artists in the world. There's a reason he's in the UFC.
Yeah.
But Phil Ho was just too much.
Yeah,
for him.
I believe Phil Ho is just way beyond skill.
Yeah,
he's in a different level. No offense to Ode, but he might be an upcomer in the future. You know what I mean? I think he could be a good prospect for the UFC. And honestly, I was one of the best fights in my opinion. there was some bangers on this card. I'm not really. I'm gonna be honest. Now I was lying there, but this card was kind of lackluster. But there's still good moments, and don't get me wrong. Like with the Ole Osborne, it was predictable, you know. So I'm gonna just lead on to the next one. It is Josiane Nunes versus Chelsea Chandler, and honestly, I thought the way it started is how I thought it was gonna start. Nunes just starts coming out strong pressure, heavy swinging, big hooks, and Chandler also landed a few good straights and some counters when Nunes was coming in, but it looked like Josiane was owning the stand-up. But at the moment the takedown happened, that's whenever a lot of things switched. It seemed like that's whenever, like, it was just the pressure of the takedown. So Nunes, she does eventually get up. She starts swinging wildly. You know, not really, like, if she would have just bit down on her punches, a little more straight punches than throwing wild hooks, like, she could have probably caught her from the get-go, to be honest. But by the time he could keep going through the fight, and that's what it was like. It was like a stand-up, wild swinging match for Josiane, and then once he got to the ground, Chelsea just dominated.
Yeah, I think she showed her size was a big problem because she towered over
Nunes.
Yep. So her size and strength was a big advantage for her.
Key factor. Chandler was able to get takedowns at the very key moments of this fight. That's why she was able to win unanimous decision. And that's what ultimately happened. It was mostly of back and forth of, we're standing up here. I'm gonna land a couple shots. You take me down. You dominate. Like that's what it mostly was. Like she couldn't really get up much off the ground. Other than that first round, she did get up, but it was much harder for her to get up later on in the fight for sure.
And then in the third round, Nunes did actually really good defending the takedown. I think Chandler was kind of gassed out.
Yeah,
and Nunes started, picking her apart. She clearly won that third round, but it was just too late.
Yeah, it was too late by that point. Exactly.
Next fight up the card was Mike Davis and Natan Levy, and Mike Davis really impressed me.
Yes.
I think he showed that the time that he took off benefited him, because I think he took a lot of that time off to work on himself and put a lot of work in the gym and improving his grappling, which necessarily, of course, you always want to improve, but no one was expecting him to go out there and work on his grappling to get to the level to submit a guy like Natan Levy, who was a legit grappler.
Yeah, legit grappler. And, tested.
Legit grappler, and he knocked him down to be able to take him down, and eventually he almost got the knee bar, but he didn't, and then eventually he set up the arm triangle choke, and it was very well submission.
Well, yeah, he looked phenomenal. He proved me wrong too. I thought the pressure of Natan Levy, I thought the grappling was going to be an issue for Mike Davis, but Mike Davis said, nope, I'm gonna drop this dude, and he put on the grappling exchange on him. He's the one that submitted Natan Levy, and I thought it was going to be the complete opposite, to be quite honest with you, and he surprised me, and I think he might be a prospect coming up too. He's one of those guys that a few more little tweaks, not even tweaks, just keep getting better, and he can be in the top 10 of the division. I truly believe that. And this next one, man, Meerschaert versus Barberena. Now, I said this was a hopeful pick. I wasn't confident about this pick, and even down deep inside of my soul, I knew that Meerschaert was going to get to him. He was going to take him down, because Barberena, his grappling's not there, and I'll give him credit. The first round, he defended well. He defended all the transitions. He even some of the submission attempts. He got out of those, and that's what gave me hope. I believe that Barberena was like, okay, he defended those. He's probably going to get out of that. That's not exactly what happened, man. The second round happened. Immediately gets another takedown. He defends the first submission very well, but eventually Meerschaert gets to his back and sets up a beautiful rear naked choke, puts him out.
Yep, shout out to Jared Meerschaert.
Great
performance from him.
Yep.
Barberena, you need to go back down to welterweight.
Yeah, I think so too.
You need to go back down.
This might be a hot take, but I think you may even go even farther down to lightweight. I love you, Brian Barberena. You're a dog. You put in that work, but them guys are big boys, and it's going to be much harder to reach their face than some of these lightweights and welterweights. And you don't even got to go to lightweight. I'm not trying to give you advice, but I'm telling you, I think his proper weight class definitely should be at least welterweight.
Yeah, he's a welterweight. Next fight up the card was Macy Chiasson and Pannie Kianzad. Macy, she started strong with a takedown, really relentless takedown, grappling pressure. And then she ended up taking the back, and she got the rear naked choke immediately.
Immediately,
not
yes.
much to talk about.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, she did exactly what she does in her other fights.
Yeah.
Either cause she was landing some good ground and pound too, before she got the choke, and that's what opened her up to, being able to be open for that choke. And she does what she does: throw the elbows, and when your neck opens up, she just locked it in so quick, and it was done.
So yeah, a good performance for Chasson. I apologize. I said it was going to be a boring decision. I give you shout outs because you had a great submission, great performance by Chasson.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 girls fights that we were saying they're gonna be decisions, they were finishes. Both submissions. Yeah, so very quick, very impressive as well. I do take back what I say again. It's like a video of take backs, but hey, this is what we watch. That's why we love this sport, man. Like anything could happen, and man, kudos to you. Next up, we got. We'll cut this.
Yeah, we'll just cut this part. Damn, we put the batteries here. Christian Rodriguez, Bulgarian.
You don't even gotta do that. Just so we can. Yeah. All right. Christian Bulgarian versus
Christian Rodriguez versus Isaac Bulgarian.
Next fight up, we got Christian Rodriguez versus
Isaac Bulgarian.
I couldn't forget. We got next fight here. We got Christian Gonzalez versus Isaac What is his name? Christian Gonzalez. I'm thinking too fast. I'm over here thinking about the fight. That's why.
Yeah, okay.
What happened in that fight again?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Bulgarian was beating him in the first round. I'll do this one.
Wait, no, just tell me so I remember.
Bulgarian was taking him. When I start talking about, you remember. Bulgarian took him down in the first round. Second round, he couldn't really take him down. He was holding against him too, wasn't he?
No, this was the weird fight. The 10-8 in the first round, 10-8 in the last round.
Yeah, he was taking him down in the first round. He had him hold down.
Taking him down, dominating him.
The second one was whenever
round.
he was holding him against the cage. But Bulgarian or Gonzalez.
Rodriguez
won the second round because
he landed a flurry.
Yeah, he landed a flurry. Yeah.
And then third round.
I'm gonna just start talking about. You're gonna remember. Yeah. Third round, he was piecing him up.
Yeah, he pieced him the fuck up.
Yeah, it was a 10-8. Yeah. Next fight on the card, we got Christian Rodriguez versus Isaac Bulgarian. And honestly, this is one of the weirder fights on the card. And I'll say it was a comeback, to be very honest with you, because Bulgarian was dominating him for the first round and arguably won the second round. You know, there was one judge that gave it to Bulgarian, but in the first round it was just heavy pressure, takedown, relentless. He was owning every transition. Every transition that they went to, Bulgarian was controlling it. He was forcing the moves and getting those open opportunities and was dominant. It was in a dominant position the whole round. And honestly, I think that part of that was the reason why the grapple heavy. He was on his back most of the fight or most of the round. Or like on the side of him. It was like necessarily the back. It was on the side of him, just punching him and you know, getting ground game and trying to get some submissions. So when the second round hit, he tried the same exact style, and it honestly backfired on him, because if he wasn't really setting up strikes and getting clean takedowns, he was just going into the pocket and just grabbing them. You know, he wasn't timing takedowns. He wasn't trying to set up, making him flinch or throw a feint and then take down. It was none of that. It was mainly just get in your face, grab a hold of you into the clinch, and try to take you down slowly. And that's where he messed up. It was a long time where he was trying to get a takedown, and honestly, that's what I believe tired him out. The reason why I believe Christian Rodriguez won this round, or won round 2, is because it was a flurry during that round that really did some damage. And in the second round, Bulgarian did nothing. He might have gotten a takedown. He might have gotten some ground control or cage control overall. But he did no damage at all in round 2. Barely really any strikes thrown from him. So, and then in the third round was a 10-8. So the first round was a 10-8 for Bulgarian because of the grappling was so dominant. Second round, Christian Rodriguez won that 10-9.
Close round.
It was a very close round. This fight could honestly go either way. It could have went either way. But in my honest opinion, I believe it should have been a draw. Yeah. Because the first 2 rounds should have went to Christian, or to Bulgarian, I'm sorry. And Christian Rodriguez, he got a 10-8 the last round. Yeah. He started piecing him up. And it was a dominant. He started hitting him on the ground, like some ground and pound too as well. And it was a total like flip switch of this fight. It was a great comeback, and I could give props to Christian Rodriguez. He held in there. His gas tank was a lot better than Bulgarian's.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, I think it was a little bit of a weird decision.
It was weird. It was weird for sure.
It was a weird decision.
I still believe it should have been a draw. I don't think Rodriguez won it, but that last round, if it would have won another round, he's finishing Bulgarian.
Yeah.
So he does deserve the win at the end of the day. Bulgarian didn't. If he would have won, everybody would have been talking trash, or not everybody, but people would be like, oh, he didn't deserve it, or, you know, because of how he was getting beat in that last round. That last round was totally different than the rest of the fight.
Yes. Next fight up the card, Kennedy Njoku versus Ovin St. Preux.
Man, Njoku disappointed the hell out of me, man. He seemed timid during the whole fight. He wasn't willing to get into, I'm not saying get into a bar fight with Ovins, because he got a chin. Ovins got a chin. And I think that's the reason why Ovins was so confident, because he knew he had a chin. He can go in there and bang with Njoku, and Njoku didn't want to. There was some moments towards the end of the fight when they were tired, and
I think it might have also been that OSP realized that Njoku didn't have the confidence in his chin.
Yeah, exactly.
And once he realized that, that's when he started to make it a dogfight.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, OSP surprised me. I called him old. I called him 40 years old. And, man, even out of his prime, he can be upcomer Kennedy Njoku. You know what I mean? Like, he's not as good as he, like, used to be, because obviously age gets to you. But, man, he surprised me. And I'm happy for him. I really am, because I do love OSP. But I thought this was Njoku's time, and apparently it wasn't, man. OSP went in there, and he arguably won every round.
Yeah.
So it was a complete, like, the last round was really good, but
actually no, the last round
was actually Njoku. You're right.
Yeah,
Njoku landed some great shots.
Almost
wobbled him. Yeah,
almost finished him there.
Yeah, it seemed like Njoku had a chance to finish him, but OSP, man, his recovery, he just hanged on at the end, and like even that last round, I can't even say like Njoku won that, but OSP was still landing some good shots in that last round.
He was, and Njoku, I think he didn't have enough energy in his tank to really put the power in his shots to finish.
He was way slower and not way slower, but he was definitely noticeably slower than OSP at the end of the fight. Now that just comes down to veteran mentality and years in the sport.
Yeah, I think they were both really slow.
Yeah, they were.
They were really both.
They were, but OSP was
super
just
slow and gassed. But Njoku just hadn't have enough power on his shots to finish OSP.
He didn't.
And
he was too gassed.
Shout out to OSP, because that was a great performance.
That was, man.
And you know, I was thinking he should retire, but I guess he got a few more fun fights in him. So shout out to OSP. Next fight up the card, Brian Battle and Ange Loosa. This was a disappointing
super
fight.
disappointment. And the reason why it's disappointing to me was I honestly believe dude backed out of the fight early. So this is what happened. In the first round, Brian Battle was piecing the crap out of Ange Loosa, piecing him up. Ange Loosa barely landed anything on him, hitting him with some nice outside shots, leg kicks, and the big thing that I seen was those teep kicks. That's a new weapon that Brian Battle was using, straight down the middle into the chest, and he was hitting them almost every time he threw him. He was hitting them, and I feel like that was hitting at Ange Loosa's gas tank. And that happened the first round. It was just a complete. Honestly, it could have probably been, if it was a little bit more damage, it could have been a 10-8, but.
And Brian Battle really changed up his style a little
bit. He did.
He
He's way more aggressive.
He came out pressuring, aggressive, just really bringing it to him. And I like that from Brian Battle. That was very fun in the first round to see what he was able to do. He was very dynamic, picking different shots, body kicks, teep kicks.
Yeah.
But then the second round comes around, right? It was the second round.
Yep, second round comes. It was like it was an exchange where they were up close, and Brian Battle's finger went into the Ange Loosa's eye. It was just like a graze. It didn't look like it was a poke, but it was a graze. It definitely hit the eye for sure.
It was enough to where you can. Eyes are very sensitive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So you can mess somebody up with just a little graze
for sure. But the issue about that is Ange Loosa took no time to recover. It was only a minute. You have 5 in UFC. You have 5 minutes after a low blow or an accidental hit, or even if it's an illegal hit. I don't think they give you time for that. But for for eye pokes and illegal hits like that, they give you 5 minutes of recovery time, and if you can't recover in 5 minutes, they end the fight. Angel Lusa didn't even go 1 minute, and he was complaining about his eye.
And if you want to, all right, you want to quit, you don't want to fight no more, okay. But after the fight, after the decision was made, now you want to fight, now you want to get all up in his face, that was disappointing.
What happened was at the end of the fight, when they called the no contest, Brian Battle was visibly upset, and Lusa was just standing there in the middle of the cage. They were just looking at each other, standing there, and Brian Battle just straight up called him a kitty cat. That's all I'm going to say. And
here's, it wasn't like Brian Battle just said, "Oh, you're a pussy for quitting."
Yeah,
Ange Lusa was giving him that look in his eye. You could see Ange Lusa the way he was looking at him, like he wanted to keep the fight going, like he was mad.
Yeah.
So Brian Battle was like, "You fucking pussy."
because Ange Lusa started like snapping like they wanted to keep fighting. Like, like bro, like the fight's over now, and now you want to keep fighting.
Yeah,
I thought your eye was busted.
Yeah,
I thought you can't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's just a little sussy, and I feel like. This is my personal opinion, and also my brother's. We feel like he took the easy way out. Yeah. He took the easy way out.
Now, Ange Lusa, don't track me down. I know you would whoop my ass, murder me and my father. I know you would destroy us all. Don't track me down. We're just analyzing what we see.
Yeah. But honestly...
Disappointing. I'm sorry. I'm disappointed, Ange Lusa.
Brian Battle's about to whoop that ass. So, and he was demolishing him.
I'll just call Brian Battle if you pull up on it.
All right, and now the biggest disappointment on this card. There's a lot of disappointments, and there's a lot of I told you so's or prove you wrong. But this one was by far the biggest disappointment. I thought Tai Tuivasa could have defended takedown. I thought he had a chance to really, because Tai Tuivasa has good takedowns and stuff, but I would feel like Tai Tuivasa could have evolved this game, finally gotten better, learned transitions. As soon as he got taken down by Tybura. And before I even get to that, Tai had a chance. He leaped. He had him cut up
with a big elbow,
with a huge elbow,
clinch.
And it was some good shots Tai was doing. It looked like he was hurt.
Almost had him hurt. He had him hurt.
He had him hurt. Yeah. Yes. And the moment Tybura grabbed him, it was relentless takedowns, and eventually got the back of Tai Tuivasa. And when you get the back of a heavyweight, it's so hard to get them off of you. Yeah. Especially if you're on the ground. If you're standing up, oh yeah, you can just jump back maybe. But whenever you're on the ground, it's hard to get a big old heavyweight off your back. And
he was getting hit with big ground and
pounds over and over again until eventually Tybura just slid his hand in really quick. He just slid it in there and choked him. That was one of the longest chokes I've ever seen in my life. It was like over a minute choke. And for somehow, some way, Tai Tuivasa was breathing through a choke from a big guy like that. And he was fighting. And I got to give credit to Tai. I love Tai. He's one of my favorite UFC fighters right now. And I got to give credit to him. He fought in there. He tried to get out of that.
He's a dog. He tried to tough it out.
He didn't even tap. The ref had to stop it because he honestly was going out. He falling asleep.
Yep. He was like in between of going out of sleep and being awake. So that's why whenever they stopped the fight, he was able to get right back up. For sure. Because he's such a tough dude to be able to get right back up after getting choked for that long by a big dude like that.
Yeah, he didn't even go to sleep, honestly. Like, he ended the fight, like, he was going limp. Yeah. But the moment he let go of the choke, obviously most people come back after if they catch him at the right time. But man, it's not really I can't really say disappointing for Tybura. It's more disappointing because I wanted to see Tai beat on him, and I even said, "Oh, if this is a guaranteed knockout," and I literally ate my own words, man. Tybura choked him out in the first round, and great for Tybura, man. You did a great job, and let's see you do that to a real grappler. I'm just kidding, but we're gonna wrap it up here. We thank you guys for coming in. I'm Nate.
I'm Elijah.
And this is MMA Bros. Until next time.